Hello and welcome. My name is Jake Adams and welcome to the Tax Savings team. Today we're going to be talking about the ideal client for your tax practice. Who is the ideal client and how are they going to help you design and build the tax practice of your dreams? So let's jump right into it and discuss the ideal client. So first of all, in marketing terms, usually what we refer to the ideal client is the ideal client avatar. Some even refer to it as the Dream 100. If you could have 100 perfect clients, what would they look like? But what I want to ask you and what I want you to do during this exercise is to think of actually who they are. If you already have a thriving practice, who is it in your practice that you really enjoy working with? Is it dentists? Is it doctors? Is it electricians or plumbers or car repair people or ladies that are doing MLM on the side when their kids are at school? It can be so many different people across the board. And your ideal client is really who you want to be working with and who you have the desire to work with and who you can help the most. In my example, I really enjoy working with real estate agents and real estate investors. I've built my entire practice of tax strategy around real estate agents. I've found that they've been a really underserved market, and they're really easy to get contact with because they like to congregate. They have their marketing meetings once a week. In my local area, there's like 4 of them within a 20 or 30-minute drive. It's really easy to find them as they congregate, and they're really underserved by the market. Your typical tax preparer usually doesn't like working with the typical real estate agent. They're usually unorganized. They're kind of fluttery. They don't always stick to their deadlines, things like that. It's just kind of hard to get a hold of them. But at the same time, it's easy to get a hold of them because they're always answering their phone. They're always out and about. You just have to find out where they are. So working with real estate agents has really helped me. And what I've done is I've niched down. And when I'm approached by a new client, they say, "Hey, are you taking on new clients?" At this time I'm not, but when I was before, when I was growing my dream practice, which I'm going to show you how to do, when people approached me and they said, "Are you taking new clients?" I said, "Oh, are you a real estate agent or a real estate investor?" And they'd either say yes or no. If they said no, I said, "Well, I'm probably not the best fit for you. Let me help you find someone else that's a better fit." And when people had that in their mind, they're like, "Wow, this guy really knows what he's doing. He really knows what he wants." So by niching down and say, "I'm going to work with these people, but I'm not going to work with these people," because the value that you can add and the value that you can offer, people see and people really resonate with that. And when I went to the real estate marketing meetings, when I went to the realtor groups, people said, "Hey, he's coming to us. He wants to help us, and he's really involved with our community. And hey, let's give this guy a shot, or let's talk to this guy and see if he can help us out." And in that way, I was able to build my 6-figure dream practice in less than 2 years. So let's talk about you. Who is your ideal client? If you already have one, that's great. If you're still kind of building your practice, you're not really sure, you just kind of have to put a face and a name to your ideal client. So even if you have to make one up, if you don't have the ideal client, but you have an idea of what the ideal client is, give them a face, give them a name, and figure out who they are. Because only once you really identify who they are, you have to identify who they are before you can figure out how to serve them the best way you can. So if you don't have a name, just pick up a name. Just think of a name like Matt, right? So Matt is a blank, and Matt wants blank services. Does that make sense? Okay. So in my case, let's say my ideal client is Matt. So my ideal client, Matt, is a real estate agent. He's selling probably about 10 to 20 houses per year. He's grossing about $300,000, and he's netting to the bottom line anywhere from between $150,000 to $300,000 net profit from his Schedule C. To me, Matt, my ideal client, was underserved by his previous CPA or tax professional. He wasn't getting the service that he wanted. He felt like he could be getting more. He felt like he wanted proactive advice. He just didn't feel like he was getting that. So what do they want? What do they need? So think about Matt. Think about Matt. What does Matt want? What does Matt need? What does Matt need? Well, Matt needs tax returns, right? That's what everybody needs. Everybody needs their taxes done once a year. But what do they truly want? Now, if you ask a lot of people, and if you look at some industry reports, people will say that people want proactive tax advice from their tax preparer. And most tax preparers will put tax strategy on their website. However, how many tax preparers, including yourself, actually follow through with making sure that the clients are getting that proactive tax strategy that they really want? There's a running joke. If you ask if you go out to, let's say you go out to dinner and you meet somebody and say, hey, when was the last time your CPA, your tax person, shared a tip with you to save you $1,000 or more on your taxes? And they either say no, never, or they laugh, right? Because the thing is we're just so busy in our tax practices that we did not design. So if you built a tax practice that you didn't design, the problem is you're just kind of busy, right? You have lots of clients, lots of client work, and you're just too busy. But really what your goal and what we're trying to show you here is how to step back from that, how to step away from being way too busy all the time to really focus on your ideal client and figuring out what you can do to best serve them. And once you come from a place of serving your clients with the best information and the best products and services that you can, your clients are going to resonate with that. You're going to get more client referrals, you're going to be able to build your dream practice, and you're going to be able to have exactly what you want in life, whether that's more profits or more free time or both, increasing your staff capacity, growing a larger firm. It's totally up to you on what you're looking for and what you want to use with this, but this is the groundwork and this is the framework that's going to help you achieve your dream practice and get exactly what you want out of life. Okay, I skipped over where are they, right? So your ideal client, Matt, right, or whoever you want to, I'm just throwing Matt out there, right? So where are they? Where are your ideal clients, right? If your ideal clients is contractors, maybe they have a once a month contractors meeting. If they don't, you can create one, right? You can have a local event where you get contractors together and mastermind. In my case, with real estate agents, they get together on what's referred to as weekly meetings, weekly marketing meetings. And in my area, like I said, there's like 5 that I can drive to on about 30 minutes away. So every single day, I could go to a location where at least 50 real estate agents are congregating. And typically, those are the ones that are my ideal client. And then my ideal client, like I said, is going to resonate with me. They're going to see me present. They're going to ask me to present. They're going to say, hey, you're a CPA. You're coming to see me. How can you help me? And when you come from a place of serving your clients with the best products that you can, the best services that you can, depending on what they want and they need, this is going to help you grow that dream practice. So if you don't know where to find your ideal client, it may not be your ideal client, right? If you really come from a place where your ideal client really resonates with you and you really know your ideal client, then it shouldn't be difficult to find out where they are. Now, we're not talking about doing Facebook ads or LinkedIn. I mean, you could do all that, but really what we're focusing on is how do you get your first couple ideal clients, and how do you find those ideal clients so that you can really start building out your stable of tax clients that you're going to be able to implement these things with. So like I said, what do they want? They really want proactive tax strategy, right? So that's what the tax savings team is here to help you do, is to help you implement those tax strategies with your clients. Now, when we talk about tax strategies, I have the core 4, the S corporation, the hiring the kids, the HRA, the 14-day Augusta rule. These are immediate things that you can do. You can say, hey, Matt, let's sit down, let's start implementing these tax savings for you right away. And when we can start implementing them right away, your ideal client will resonate with you because you're actively helping them and engaged with them to make sure that they're saving money on their taxes, which is exactly what they want, right? That's exactly what they want from their tax preparer. And that's what I want to help you be able to do. So what can you do? We might say, Jake, well, I don't know these tax savings. I don't know how to implement these tax savings. I don't have time. That's what the tax strategy binder and the tax strategy roadmap is going to help you with. So the tax strategy roadmap and the plan is really going to help you implement these things with your clients. We have almost a done-for-you service that's going to walk you through exactly how to implement those, all the IRS internal revenue code that you need, all the tax law to supporting that, to make sure that you feel comfortable with these tax strategies that you're sharing with your client. Because at the end of the day, it's your signature and their signature on the bottom line. And if you give your client a tax strategy advice and you start implementing one of these things, you're going to want to know that you've done your research and you've, along with the community that we have, given you the advice that you need to know to feel confident implementing these tax strategies with your client. All right, now the last thing I want to cover, I mean, we've covered a lot and we can go into more detail on this, but I really want to cover how much do you charge and how much do you want to earn. So your typical tax return, right, if you look at the US average, it's anywhere from about $250 to about $400 for your average tax return. Now, this is okay, but the problem is can't make a lot of money. There's not a lot of profit opportunities when you're just doing your typical tax return, right? So if you've got 400 clients paying you $400, you know, that's great. That's $160,000. However, it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work all in one time. And there's not a lot of value that you can give to those clients because they're not, they're probably not your ideal client. They're probably just, you know, any client that walks in on the street. And that's why I don't recommend doing untargeted Facebook ads or direct mailers or postcards or things like that. Because if you don't know who you're targeting, if you don't have a specific niche that you're working with, if you don't have your ideal client set up, then anybody out there will come to you, right? Because everyone needs their taxes done. So if you don't harpoon your client, if you don't say, I want to work with Matt, and this is what Matt is, and this is who Matt is, if you don't choose Matt, then you'll have everybody else that wants to do a tax return coming to you. And really the only way that you can differentiate yourself in that case is by price. You can say, oh, well, I'm $200. I'm a little bit cheaper than H&R Block, which a lot of people do. They look at like H&R Block prices and they just choose a little bit lower. And they're like, oh, that's my price. But are you less than H&R Block? Are you fewer services than H&R Block? I hope not. But what this is going to allow you to do is say, I feel comfortable charging X, because X is not just tax preparation. X is tax preparation and strategy. Right? And by using the tax strategy tools that we're going to be able to give you in part of the tax strategy team, you'll be able to implement these things with your clients very, very easily. And that's the most important part, is being able to quickly and easily implement these tax strategies with your client. So let's go back to how much do you charge? So here's what I do, and here's how I charge per client. So what I say when I'm meeting with a new client, and like I said, I'm not taking on new clients right now, so I'm not out there competing with your business. I'll actually probably refer business to you. But more like this is what I have done in the past and what all my current clients are on. So what I've done is I said, I have a minimum yearly fee of working with me, and I break that into an easy to pay monthly payment. So here's what it looks like. Now I say, hey client, thanks for wanting to work with me. My name is Jake. This is your real estate agent. Okay, this is great. This is how we're going to work together. Now, I have a minimum fee of $3,600 a year. Let me put that down. I have a yearly minimum fee of $3,600 to work with me. $3,600, right? So what does that mean? Does that mean that I charge $500 for this tax return, $1,000 for this tax return? No. I have a yearly minimum fee of $3,600 to work with me. That includes tax preparation for one individual, and if you have kids and we're doing the kid strategy, we'll do the tax returns for the kids as well, and one business, whether that's a partnership, an LLC, S corporation, corporation, however way you have it. So $3,600 includes pretty much all the tax returns for the family and one business. I also like to look over my client's bookkeeping, which you probably do if you have business clients. You're probably looking over their bookkeeping anyway, right? So I include that because there's value to that. You don't want to just say, oh, at the end of the year, I have to look at your books because I got to do your tax return anyway. There's no value to that. You're like, okay, you've got to do it anyway, right? But if you say, this is part of the value that I provide, I'm looking over your books at least once a year. Some of my clients I even do monthly bookkeeping for. I'll do monthly bookkeeping review. I'll look at it and I'll say, yeah, this month we do this. But I encourage you to probably look at your clients' books at least quarterly to make sure that, one, they're doing it, two, they're doing it properly and they're kind of right on the right track, and three, for those tax savings opportunities. Because you want to be getting on the phone with your clients at least every quarter to say, hey, what's changing with your business? Are things going really well? Things are not going really well? How do we put money into a SEP account or a 401k account? You looking at buying a new truck, buying a new car, growing your business, changing operations, hiring employees. These are kind of the conversations that you want to have with your clients to really maximize this. Now you might say, wow, Jake, for $3,600, that seems like a lot. And there's two different ways of looking at that, right? You can say, it seems like a lot, right? So the clients, let's say it's a real estate agent that's thinking about working with me, and they said, oh, it's just way too much. And I said, well, if it's too much, then it might not be right. It might not, you might not be at the point of your career or the point of your real estate opportunity to work with me. I might not be the right fit, and that's okay. I like to be able to tell clients that I'm not the right fit, because you know what? There's other tax preparers out there. There's thousands, hundreds of thousands of other tax preparers out there. There's somebody that's going to fit right for them if I'm not right for them. So that's the other thing that I want to help you instill in you, is that you might not be the right fit for every tax return out there. Even if you have those clients right now, they may not be the best fit for you. And we may have to figure out how to transition them out, because you want to be able to work with your ideal client. And working with your ideal client is going to help you build your dream practice, right? What does your ideal client want? What do they need? Now, I've mentioned here business. If you noticed, I said business quite a few times. And the reason I say business is that businesses need more services. Businesses need more help. And the people that are growing and owning their own business are more opportunistic in what they can do with tax strategy and tax savings. Now, it's not to say that there's not some tax savings out there for the W-2 employee, but the problem is that the employer is already doing a lot of those things for them. They've already got things like the 401k and the 401k matching, or the 403b, or defined dependent care benefits and things like that are built into the W-2, that are built into the W-2 employee. But with the self-employed individual, no one's doing that for them. So there's a lot of opportunity there for working with those people. So who's your ideal client? Who's your ideal client? You got to think of who is your ideal client and what are the services? What are the amazing services that you can offer? And then pricing. So, and I mentioned pricing, the $3,600. I break that into a monthly fee. So when I'm talking with clients, I say it's a $3,600 minimum fee per year. Some are like, okay, can I write you a check? I'm like, yeah, that's fine. You can write me a check. Or we can do by credit card. I divide that by 12 months. And that gives me a really nice, easy $300 per month. Let me make that bigger. So what does that do for me? And what does that do for the client? It smooths out cash flow. So if you're having a problem in your business with not collecting on time, or clients that say, oh, I'll pay you after I get my refund, or bank products, or they just don't have the money, this is a really good alternative. This is a really good way for you to smooth out the cash flow and know that your client is paying you. And if you do this way, the way that I actually have it set up is if a client started working with me in, let's say, February, I would have them pay for their current year's tax return. So let's say February of 2018, right? So then they would pay for their 2018 taxes as a separate rate, and then they would start at the $300 a month all the way through 2018. So they would pay the $3,600, the $300 a month through 2018, and then that would actually go to pay for their 2019 tax returns. So in that case, they've provided me income all throughout 2018, and they've prepaid their 2019 tax return. They've prepaid their 2018 tax return, which we do in 2019. That makes more sense. All right, so you can kind of see how I break out pricings there. If you like that, you're more than welcome to use that. If you don't like that, that's okay, right? As long as you're charging a premium for the tax savings that you're doing, that's the key. The key is charging a premium for the tax expertise, for the tax savings that you're sharing with your client. And more important than sharing it with your client is implementing with your client. They need to see this money. They need to see the tax savings right away, right? So let's do a quick recap, because we covered a lot here today. So the ideal client, who is the ideal client? Give them a name, give them an image, give them a persona. Matt, right? Matt is a what, right? In my case, Matt is a real estate agent. Matt is a real estate agent earning between $150,000 to $300,000 of net profit, right, after expenses, net profit or net income from his real estate agent activities, right? Where is Matt, right? Matt, to me, is between 5 miles and 15 miles from my house. He congregates in the real estate marketing meetings that I like to go to, and he's part of the real estate community. In my case, it's Bay East, and Matt is part of that community as well as I'm part of that community, right? Again, this is up for you. This is totally up to you. You have to decide who your client is. It doesn't have to be real estate agents. If you want it to be real estate agents, you certainly can, but it can be plumbers, electricians, it can be contractors, it can be handymen, it can be financial advisors, it can be ladies doing MLM when their kids are at school. It can be whatever you want across the board, but it's much better, and it's key to have them as a business owner, at least on a Schedule C. Those are the people that are going to see the most value in working with you. All right. What do they want? What do they need? They want proactive tax savings. They want proactive tax advice. What do they need? Tax preparation. So tax preparation is almost like an afterthought to the tax strategy, because the tax strategy is most important because you can charge the most amount of money for it and see the most amount of benefits and results from it. And what can you do? Right? What are some of the services that you can offer? Tax savings is one of them, tax savings implementation, but it's only one. You need to go through what your availability is, or what you want to be able to offer. So if you're working with, let's say, contractors, what can you do? Can you do job costing? If you're working with, construction, right? Job costing. If you're working with service businesses, can you say, I'm going to show you the profit per customer, or profit per client? There's many different things that you can say, this ideal client, Matt, right? What does Matt want, and what can I do for Matt? Now, you might say, well, I don't have a specific business that I want to work with. I just want to work with business owners in general, and that's fine, right? So what you can do is you can say, well, in business owners in general, what do business owners like to do? They want to grow their business. How can you help business owners grow their business? Through networking, through masterminding. So maybe what can you do if you have, let's say, 50 clients that are all business owners about, let's say, $500,000 to $5 million in revenues? You can say, hey, let's do a monthly mastermind luncheon. And maybe that's part of what you do. And your key differential on how you're different than all the other tax preparers out there is maybe you say, well, we have a business masterminding lunch. So all my clients are in my inner circle. And if my clients are in my inner circle clients are able to come to this free, I wouldn't even say free, it's included, you have to be, it's by invitation only, right? Invitation only is really cool. So you can say it's invitation only, we have a monthly mastermind for business owners that you have to be my client, you have to be part of the inner circle. And people are like, oh, that's cool, I wonder what they're doing there. I want to be part of that. So at that point, you can actually create a lot of interesting parts, interesting ideas and interesting things that you can do with your business. You just got to think outside the box. Be different, right? Because there's hundreds of thousands of tax preparers out there, right? There's hundreds of thousands of tax preparers out there. You have to figure out how you're different. What makes you different? What are those things that you can offer your ideal client that they're not getting anywhere else? And how can you go to that ideal client? Because I know exactly what I know exactly who you are. You're Matt. I know exactly what industry you are. You're this. You're a real estate agent. I know exactly what you need to make sure that your business is successful. I know exactly what you need to keep you out of the crosshairs of the IRS, to avoid audit, and I know exactly what you need to grow your business and to help keep more money in your pocket. That's it, right? That's all we need to say. That's all the marketing language that we need. We don't need hundreds of thousands of dollars in sales courses. We don't need to go out there and take sales courses or try to become a salesperson that a lot of us aren't. All we need to do is have that conversation with potential clients and say, this is what I do. I know exactly who you are. I know exactly how I can help you. Let's put more money back in your pocket. And that's it. And you can see, how much do you want to earn? Well, if I'm charging $3,600 per client, I only need 33 some odd clients to break 6 figures. It's not difficult, right? And if you go through the tax savings that we're taught that are included in another module, right? The 14-day Augusta rule, most people at a 20% tax bracket are going to save this amount just by doing one strategy. So don't be afraid to charge what you're worth. Don't be afraid to charge what you're worth. This isn't about increasing the fees of your tax returns. This is about adding a brand new revolutionary product, tax strategy, implementing tax strategy, which very, 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 very few CPAs and tax professionals do. So thank you so much for giving me your time today as we go through this video. I hope this was beneficial for you. And then I'm going to try to break this out into longer videos, going through the ideal client and the ideal products and services in a little bit more detail. So again, thanks for joining me. This is Jake Adams with the Tax Savings Team, and have a great day.